Even strongest paladin in Baldur's Gate 3 misses almost every turn. But in latest patch, one spell got secretly buffed, so now you can have almost 100% chance to hit these juicy smites on your enemies. And let me show you this broken build. First of all, we need to create our character. If you're creating character for Honor mod and want safer choice, go for Half Orc. Half Orc gives this ability Relentless Endurance. If you reach 0 hit points, you regain 1 hit point instead of becoming downed. Very nice ability to be able to get up and run away from the fight on Honor mode. But if you want more beautiful characters than these Orcs and Half Orcs, you can go for someone like Elf. Elf is a nice choice for Paladin. They naturally get this proficiency in Dark Vision and Fey Ancestry to being able to be saved from being charmed and being put into sleep. And it's better to pick someone like Wood Elf to get additional movement speed in battle. But basically any race will work. But I would recommend to stay away from short races like dwarfs and gnomes, because they got low racial movement speed and you want to run around as Paladin a lot as melee character. Starting class is Paladin and Oath of Vengeance. Oath of Vengeance is broken and you will see why. It's really crazy, it will blow your mind. So for background, go for Persuasion or Intimidation. So it's either Soldier, Guild Artisan or Noble. I like Soldier more to get Athletics proficiency too. And if you want to make this Paladin as powerful as possible, go with this stat distribution. We're going with 17 into Strength, 10 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 16 Charisma, and we're dumping Intelligence and Wisdom. These stats, considering you can get +1 bonus to Strength in the game, then Potion of +2, and then we will get Ability Point increase and make our Strength 22 flat. But if you don't know how to do it, or you're not planning to do it, start with 16 Strength and 10 into Wisdom. That will be best stat distribution. So it's time to level up. On second level, pick Fighting Style, and for my build we're going for Great Weapon Fighting. You will get access to more spells, but more on this later. Because Paladin will get access to the spells anytime, so I will just explain what spells good and what you can use. And main level is level 3. That's where you're becoming Oath of Vengeance Paladin actually. Most important feature here is actions. You need to get in this WoW enmity action, which will give you advantage on attack rolls against enemies and abjure enemy. You can fight an enemy. This will use your channel Oath charges, which replenishes on short rests. Additionally, as Oath of Vengeance, you will get Bane and Hunter's Mark spells, so you can cast Hunter Mark, bonus action on enemy, and it will do additional damage when you hit this enemy. And finally, level 4, that's where you get your feat choice. So for our feat of choice, we're going for Great Weapon Master. When you land a critical hit or kill a target with melee attack, you can make another melee weapon attack as bonus action. So it gives you additional attack on level 4 if you're killing creatures or making critical hits. But most importantly, you can turn on passive and you will get -5 to attack rolls. But every attack you make will make flat 10 damage, and that's insane. So how we can play this early game level 4 Paladin and why he's so broken? Everything we need for early levels is actually different smites, and basically for all levels. We don't need any other spells from Paladin list, so just pick Searing Smite, which will give additional fire damage, Thunder Smite, additional thunder damage and make targets prone sometime, and Wrathful Smite. It will possibly frighten targets and do additional psychic damage. So depending on target resistances, which you can check by pressing right click and examine them, and you can see resistances, you can pick different damage types, but bread and butter of every paladin is of course Smite. Divine Smite adding 2d8 radiant damage for level 1 spell slot, and that's like most impressive damage for early game level 1 characters, and it will scale even more in late game. So make sure to go to reactions and turn on your reactions and ask button. So whenever you attack your enemies, you will be prompted with, do you want to use Divine Smite? It will be prompted only if you're not killing them, so you can just check if it's not enough damage to kill them, you can use Smite. And it's also a very nice idea to drop your passive on your hotbar. So here I got my Great Weapon Master all-in passive, and let me just show you it in a battle. So as you can see, we got 50% chance to hit Lae'zel right now. Your armor class is 16, so it's really hard to hit 16 armor class characters in early game, especially with great weapon master Lin. So it's better to turn this off sometime and get high chance to hit. And at this point of the game, you're basically not using Inquisitor to the might anymore. It will add 3 radiant damage to your attacks and gain death enemies for 2 turns. It will use Channel Oath Charge. And because we got only one Channel Oath Charge, we actually want to use WoW Enmity. I always liked Vengeance Paladin because on stronger enemies you can use WoW Enmity, cast it on them, and you will get advantage for 10 turns against bosses, so it's really strong stuff. But in the new patch, in patch 5, they silently buffed this spell. So now you can use WoW Enmity not on enemy, but on yourself, as bonus action. And look at this. So now, without any concentration, without any stuff, I got advantage on attack rolls against every enemy. This means my hit chance is basically 99% with advantage. I roll into dices, I can't critical miss, almost can't. So it's like 1% chance to critical miss. And that's great future to have when you're using great weapon master Lin. So as this early game character, Paladin can basically one-shot every enemy with great weapon master Lin, do incredible damage, and just destroy everyone. Because I'm not having right now great weapon right now in my hands, as you can see, we got prompt for Divine Smite, so I'm not killing this imp. I can use Divine Smite and finish him with Divine Smite for 16 damage. That's really insane amount of damage. So that's basically the safest way to play as Paladin on Honor mod. Just cast WoW Enmity before fight, right before fight, or instantly in the fight. It uses only bonus action, so you can still attack with normal attacks easily. And if you need, use Searing Thunderous or Wrathful Smite to inflict damage types. Or you can use your level 1 spell slot, but I would use it on higher levels or only versus bosses to inflict 1d6 damage every attack when you hit attack. This will be a second turn spell, so basically we're using Hunter's Mark, and now we effectively like tripling our damage. So damage is basically insane for this Paladin. And if you're using great weapon or even normal weapon, you can do additional damage after you killing creature as bonus action with great weapon master all in. So as you can see, we can use bonus action to inflict one more attack. So this spell alone makes Paladin broken, especially Vengeance Paladin, because only he got this spell. Let's finish leveling up and I will show you build. So level 5, we get an extra attack. Now we can use 2 attacks with 1 action. We're getting some more smites, magic weapon, I like to use it. Basically using level 2 spell slot, and while you're concentrating on this spell, your weapon got additional +1 damage and +1 chance to hit enemies. So that's nice bonus to have. But after level 5, there's not a lot of useful stuff if you want to have Paladin as damage dealer. That's why on level 6 we want to add class and switch to Sorcerer. By leveling Sorcerer, you will get a lot of spell slots, and this means a lot of smites. As Sorcerer, you can pick different cantrips that you like to use and have fun. You won't use them a lot because you got your powerful weapon, so you can have some fun stuff like Poison Spray, Acid Splash. It can reduce enemies' armor class, Shocking Grasp, sometimes you just need this shock damage, and maybe even Firebolt if you need some fire. As for spells, again, you will use your spell slots mostly for your smites. So I would pick something like Magic Missile just in case you need 100% hit chance to finish down 1 hit point enemy. And maybe something like Enhanced Leap or Feather Fall. Outside of the combat, the spells is rituals, so you can use them without spell slots, just basic spells. And for our subclass, I would go with Draconic Bloodline, and I would pick White Dragon. As Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer, you will get more hit points, and this means our Paladin will become more tankier. And additionally, White Gold Dragon gives us Armor of Agathos, and we can use it in late game to be even more tankier with additional hit points. On level 7, you can pick Twin Spell and Distant Spell. Sometimes you can use the Sorcery points to use double spells, but that's like very niche situations, most of the time you're not using it. And for spells, again, I like to pick just exploration stuff like Enhanced Leap. Level 8, we continue our Sorcerer journey. I like to pick Knock to open some doors and chests. And of course, Metamagic Quicken Spell, so we can use spells as bonus action, but again, we're not using them too much. Level 9, we get an additional feat. So right now we just want to have more strength, it will give us more damage and more chances to hit enemies. Another feat to think about is Sentinel. So when you stand in nearby your allies, when someone attacking them, you will be prompted with reaction so you can attack enemies that attack your allies. And they will be stuck in place so your allies can run away. Sentinel is a nice feat. But we can be like bully and go for strength. And basically we're finishing with Sorcerer. Again, we don't care about spells, so you can pick any spells you like, it doesn't matter. And now it's time to look on gear we want to have on our character. So in Act 1, most powerful weapon is any great weapon you can find. I will show you by the end of this video how to get best weapon for Paladin for Act 1. And mostly your builds will start to manage and develop in Act 2. So let's start from the helmet. Haste Helmet. This is early game helmet, and when you start in combat you will gain momentum for 3 turns. This gives you a lot of movement speed and you can run to your targets and hit them, so very nice helmet. Then Cloak of Protection. This just gives you more armor class. Our armor class won't be too high because we're not wearing shield when we're playing this build, we're playing with weapon which will be two-handed, so it's nice to have more armor class just by using Cloak. Then by the end of first act you can build this armor. It's Adamantine Splint Armor. Very strong armor, reduces all incoming damage by 2. When you get hit by melee attack, you can send enemy reeling, and you can't be critical hitted, so attackers can't land critical hit on the wearer. Very nice armor. On Act 2 you can go for Dwarven Splint Mail if you don't want this armor on Paladin. It have additional armor class, a little bit weaker, but Constitution +2, so you will get more hit points. Really nice armor too, as you can see. Our hit points just skyrocketed by 20 on last levels, so 2 Constitution is nice bonus. But at the end of Act 2, I recommend going for Reaper's Embrace. All incoming damage is reduced by 2, and you get passives that you can't be moved against your will by any spell or action. So you just come to your enemy and stand still. Very nice armor, very nice and strong armor, basically until late game or even in the late game. So next for gloves, you can pick any gloves before Act 2. In Act 2 I recommend using Infernal Iron with Diamond and get this Float Helldusk gloves. This will add additional fire damage to your weapon attacks. And in Act 2 you can buy Evasive Shoes, so it's armor class +1, again more armor. And just like that our character can have around 20 armor class. It's considered a really high armor class, so it's nice to have 19 armor class. Now let's go to weapons. So again, Act 1 weapon I will show you just in a second, but Act 2 weapon is Halberd of Vigilance. Buy it. You can buy it from trader. That's crazy weapon. It got 1d4 fire damage from our gloves. It got 1d4 force damage from its own. You gain +1 bonus to initiative rolls. And when you're using reaction to attack, when enemies try to run away from you, you're doing it with advantage. So that's nice to have too. So as you can see, it's really scary and powerful paladin. Additionally, in Act 2 you can have a lot of purple worm toxins. Buy it whenever you see it. You can craft these toxins, and this toxins is insane, so you just coat your weapon, and your weapon starting to do additional 1d10 poison damage, so really powerful buff to your weapons. And my ring combination for this build will be Crusher Ring. That's Act 1 ring, will give you 3 meter movement speed. Then Killer's Sweetheart. You can find it in Act 2. When you kill creature, your next attack roll will be critical hit, so very powerful ability. And Surgeon's Amulet. So when you score a critical hit on humanoid, you can paralyze this humanoid for 2 turns and land a lot more critical hits. Very nice combinations, and gained human enemies, and you will find a lot of human enemies in Act 3. So as you can see, late game Paladin looks really strong, doing crazy amount of damage and really high hit chance. And when I turn on WoW Enmity, even with Great Weapon Master Aladdin, I will get 75% hit chance. That's crazy. So we just destroying enemies easily. When you go into Act 3, our finished build will be with Servox Horned Helmet. So number you need to roll for critical is reduced by 1. Very strong stuff. Very strong helmet. We can change Evasive Shoes if we don't need this 1 armor class for Boots of Persistence. It will give us freedom of movement and Long Strider, but I like to keep Evasive Shoes. And you can buy Legacy of Masters at Daemon to gain +2 bonus to attacks and damage rolls with weapons. We're using weapons, so we getting instantly +2 to attack rolls. And now with WoW Enmity we got 84% chance to hit high armor targets. And that's insane. Additionally, Deadshot Bow will reduce this number to land a critical again by 1, so you can just equip this bow. You can buy it from trader, and your number to do critical, even with a sword, will be reduced. Very strong bow. And then for weapons in Act 3. My starting weapon for Act 3 would be continue with this halberd or get Nurilna, if you know how to get it, or if you accidentally will get it. With Nurilna, you can equip shield or just use it with two hands. It's do additional 1d6 thunder damage, so really strong weapon for Act 3, especially for beginning. And then you want to get Baldur Giant Slayer to finish this build. So two-handed sword, incredible damage that will add your strength to your damage rolls. Sorry, to your damage. Yeah, to damage rolls basically. So it's not rolls, it's flat damage of your strength. It's a really crazy sword. And this late game paladin will look something like this alone. So you can cast armor for Katos on yourself. It will give you 25 temporary hit points on max level. You can cast magic weapon. You can even upcast it. For example, by level 4 spell slot. And this will add additional damage and additional enchantment. Use WoW Enmity in the fight. And just look at this. We got 94% chance to hit enemies with at least 16 AC. Because we are sorcerer, we can create spell slots. So we can use sorcery points. We got 7 sorcery points to create spell slots. I like to create spell slot of level 3 and of course of level 1. So now we can basically land smites of level 1 5 times, then 3 times smites of level 2, 4 smites of level 3, and 3 smites of level 4. So there's a lot of smites. Let's go and land them. And before we land them, I will show you how to get best weapon for Paladin in Act 1. So basically on this tutorial ship, you want to go to this room where this guy's lying unconscious, and then to this room before final fight. You will find the troll over here and just pick up this Eldritch Rune. Then get back to the first room with this guy who is unconscious and to use this touch panel. So just use your Elite Wisdom check, you should pass it most of the time, and you will get Shadow Heart over here. So we need to wake you up, and before going to the final battle of this tutorial level, you need to go to Shadow Heart and change your spells. Instead of Shield of Faith, pick Command. And with 2 spell slots of level 1 as Shadow Heart, you will get 2 attempts to do this stuff. So pick Command, and there is Command Drop. It will force enemy to drop his weapon. We got 55% chance on Tactician, on Honor mode, so it's basically 50-50. Let's try this out. And as you can see, weapon dropped. Now when weapon is dropped, just get your character, use dash action, make a jump, so you travel more distance, and go and try pick up this blade. That's basically it, that's the idea. And when you get this blade, it's a really strong and powerful blade. Let me use bonus action to travel over here and pick up this blade. So Everburn Blade will do +2 slashing damage, 2d6 plus our strength, and 1d4 fire damage. Incredible weapon for early game. So Commander Jalk is level 8 enemy, and actually you will see a lot of enemies of around level 8, level 10 in Act 3 with this higher armor class. So 18 is really high. There's not a lot of them with 18. And against these enemies, you will have 88% chance to hit your shots. Look at these shots. Just look at these shots. So we're basically doing normal attack, and that's flat 28 damage. So it's basically doing 2d6 from our sword plus 5 plus our strength. It's 4 plus our strength one more time. It's 4. We can have 5 if we have all bonuses at this point. Plus 10 flat from Great Weapon Master Olin, and plus 2 from Arming Enchantment. So that's crazy damage. Don't forget to turn on all your smites as reactions, always do it. So we got a lot of smites, even of level 5. And right now I will be prompted with a lot more smite options. So let's just upcast it to level 4. And this damage is just insane. So we're basically doing almost same damage, 68 from smites. And you can do it a lot of times, because as sorcerer you got a lot of spell slots. So killing enemies is really easy task. And if you think this paladin is really powerful, you need to watch my best builds for Honor mod, because you can make him a lot more powerful with balanced party. So make sure to go and watch it on the screen right now. And see you in the next videos.